macho sport. It's full of macho kind of characters, and I'm afraid I'm just not a very macho guy. Is really the attraction to racing. It's kind of like life in three-quarters times. In a day of racing, you can go through, and usually do go through, everything from intense fear to intense concentration to intense ecstasy and joy to humiliation and defeat, all wrapped up into 8 hours. But maybe we can get it up to the second heat. Go back to the first motor for the first heat, put this one in for the second, and then make a decision.
Chip Hanauer is used to living a great deal of life in just one day. It's his job. I guess one of the first things you'd have to say about the man is that he's one of the best hydro racers around. In the same breath, you'd also have to say he's one of the nicest.
Good luck. Thanks. Be careful, Noah. You too. Hi, how are you? How you doing? Good. How are you doing? Nice to meet you. Chip Hanauer.
Chip has been national champion 3 times, and last year his name was entered in the history books when he captured his 6th consecutive Gold Cup. His tumultuous affair with speed began at the tender age of 9, when he decided to spend his paper route money to buy a boat.
I don't know what my relationship with speed is. I think it's a little bit love-hate. You know, I say that I don't like it, but there is a fascination to it, or a high that comes from it. To laugh at yourself to do what I do for a living. So it's really important for myself that I separate who I am personally from my occupation, which is race driving. You have to remember that it's basically a game. It's something that I started doing as a child because I loved it, not to earn a living or to get recognition. And that who I am is, I would have to say, really is quite a bit different than the person people see racing.
When Chip is off the race course, you'll most likely find him on the racquetball court, or working out, or perhaps riding his motorcycle. Action is definitely a big part of Chip's life, and hydro action is something he's never been able to part with.
When I've tried to give it up, I found that the thing that I missed most was the intensity. The thing that I hate the most on race day, on race morning when I wake up, and that knot in your stomach and that feeling of pressure, when I tried to give it up, as it turns out, that was the very thing that I missed. Life became too simple. I missed that intensity.
Now, that's not to say that Chip doesn't enjoy an occasional quiet moment to himself just puttering around in his own backyard.
I think it's just a chance to kind of do nothing. It's just, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's just, I think, opportunity to be alone and think and just be quiet. Racing's a very loud, sometimes obnoxious world, somewhat gauche. I've always liked the competition. And really, I'm kind of a fan, I think, just like the hundreds of thousands of people that go down there and they try and sneak into the pit area themselves. I'm still very much in love with all the ambiance of racing, the sights and the smells and the color.
Last year, everyone watched as Chip finished the 1986 season as the winningest active driver on the circuit. This year has not gone as well. The Miller American has been plagued with every mechanical problem known to racing.
And it looks to me like the Miller American is slowing down. It is! The Miller American is slowing down after a comfortable lead.
But win or lose, one thing the public doesn't see is the human commitment it takes to race hydros. And Chip is the first to admit that although driver and boat are the focus of attention, it's the crew who work the hardest.
This thing needs to be going back in about an hour.
There's a real bond because they know it's dangerous too. And the commitment is total. And that's what I think people don't see. In the little things, the things that people think are the joy to racing, the attention or the money and the glamour, it's not it at all. It's the subtle things. It's the camaraderie that's shared with my team members when you're sitting at a Union 76 truck stop at 3 in the morning in some little town in Alabama, talking about how we're going to improve the boat over last week to make it, raceable. The funny little things that happen on the road, and those are the, when it's all said and done, and through the long winter, those are the things that you reflect on that really gives you the joy.
Winning, of course, is important in any sport. But when you get to know Chip Hanauer and you get over wondering why the rough sport of hydro racing has attracted such a gentle person for so many years, you realize that Chip's also in it for the joy of sharing, pure and simple.